Welcome back to the 2-Minute Warning. Today I'm taking a look at my top 5 NFL receiving corps heading into the 2021 NFL season. But before we get into that topic, quick question for those of you viewing. Who do you have as your number one receiving corps for the upcoming season? But getting straight into it, a couple of honorable mentions before I get into the list is going to be starting off with the Cincinnati Bengals. I like what they have, a really young team, Auden Tate, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow to throw to him. But I'm going to hold them back from making this list just because Jamar Chase is such a big part of this receiving room, and I haven't seen him play in the NFL yet. I have to hold him back just a little. Do I think he's going to pan out and be fine? Absolutely. Do I think they could be a top 5 receiving corps by the end of next year? Absolutely. But not having seen him play, just having that small risk of still being a bust, I have to hold him back just a little bit. Another one, New York Football Giants. I love what they did this offseason, getting Kenny Galladay, drafting Kadarius Toney, adding John Ross, adding Kyle Rudolph, in addition to Sterling Shepard, Darius Slayton, Evan Ingram. Great moves, but I'm holding them back because I think Julio Jones is going to hold them back and they won't reach their full potential. Another one, this might be a little surprising, LA Rams. They were just shy of the list for the reason that they don't have a lot of star power. They have one of the deepest receiving rooms in the NFL. Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, Van Jefferson, Tyler Higbee. They added Deshaun Jackson. Great team, but there's no top-tier star power at the top, and therefore I just have to hold them back a little bit. And this one is probably going to be the most surprising. Cleveland Browns, they just fell short of the list as well. I know how good it is. Jarvis Landry, Rashard Higgins, OBJ, Austin Hooper, David Njoku, Peoples-Jones. But I'm holding them back because of OBJ. I don't know what he's going to be again. Is he going to be a top 5 receiver again? Is he going to be a top 10 receiver again? Is he going to be top 15? Is he going to be top 20? I don't know. No one knows, and therefore I can't count on him to really be the star of this receiving group and lead them. This is another one like the Bengals. I think they'll be fine. I think they might make the top 5 list, but just not knowing right now, I can't put them there. But getting straight into the real list, number 5 is going to go to the Arizona Cardinals, led by DeAndre Hopkins. Starting off, DeAndre Hopkins alone, number 2 receiver in the NFL, arguably the best receiver in the NFL. He's going to throw you in the conversation at least, but outside of him, I like what they have. AJ Green, a guy that I think has a lot of upside still, a veteran who's at some point in time was a top 5 receiver in the NFL. He had like 6 or 7 straight years of 1,000 yards, and that was when he had Andy Dalton at quarterback. I think Kyler Murray is a much better upgrade over Andy Dalton, and I think I've said in several other videos, with so much focus going to be on D-Hop for defenses to worry about, I think this can open up a lot of one-on-one matchups for AJ Green, a big physical guy, a go up and get a guy that can win these one-on-one matchups, and therefore I think he's going to have some upside. Do I think he's going to be prime AJ Green again? No, but I do think a lot of the league is just counting him out completely, and I think he's going to turn things around a little bit. Christian Kirk, a pretty good slot receiver. He's inconsistent. Some games he has zero catches, 0 touchdowns, 0 nothing. But there's other games where he'll have just 3 catches and he has 112 yards and 2 touchdowns. It's weird, and that's why I like him. He's such a big play guy. You can't count on him, but he's a wild card player that's just going to throw off a couple of defense a couple of weeks throughout the NFL. And I think with having separation between AJ Green and DeAndre Hopkins, so much focus beyond them, we're going to see a couple more big plays from Christian Kirk this year. Kyler Murray as well. Him going in from year 2 to year 3. We already saw a big jump from rookie year to year 2. Year 2 to year 3 is going to be even better. He's going to have more confidence. In this run game, not being the best run game in the NFL by any means, there's going to be a lot of passing, a lot of yards through the air, and therefore I like this team. Rondale Moore, another rookie on this squad that I think has a lot of upside. Similar thing to Christian Kirk this year. I think with the separation and the focus being on AJ Green and D-Hop, we could see Rondale Moore, a rookie, get a lot of upside and a lot of separation, a lot of open plays because of the focus on the other receivers in this core. But moving on, number 4 is going to go to the Tennessee Titans. I was skeptical putting them on this list because I don't know what Julio Jones is, and how can I bet on Julio Jones but I can't bet on OBJ or Jamar Chase. I get that, but I'm betting on a future Hall of Famer here. I'm not betting on OBJ, who has some of the best seasons in the NFL, to some of the worst. I'm not betting on Jamar Chase, a guy that hasn't played a single NFL snap. I'm betting on Julio Jones, a future Hall of Famer, a arguable top 10 receiver of all time. This isn't some scrub I'm betting on. And with him, he's got A.J. Brown. With him, he's got Josh Reynolds. With him, he's got Anthony Firkser. Reynolds and Firkser aren't the top guys by any means, but Josh Reynolds, I think he's a great number 3 receiver on their team to have. Anthony Firkser, he's not star-studded, but you're paying like a third of what you would have to pay Jonnu Smith. And while I think Jonnu Smith is better than Anthony Firkser, Do I think he's 3 times better? No, I don't, and therefore I like the depth on this team and Julio Jones, a guy that I believe that could still be a top 5 player in this league, and A.J. Brown, a guy that's right behind him, playing with his idol, who's right on the brink of being a top 10 receiver. If you end the season with 2 top 10 receivers on the same team, the best receiving duo in the NFL, you're going to be in some big lists as receiving groups as a whole, and I think number 4 fits them pretty good right now. Number 3 is going to go to the Dallas Cowboys. A lot of people think the Dallas Cowboys are number 1. A lot of people are counting out the Cowboys completely. To me, number 3 fits for them. Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, Blake Jarwin, the tight end. Not much to say there with Blake Jarwin. Between Gallup, Cooper, and Lamb, to me, they performed phenomenally last year given the circumstances they were in. Having quarterbacks from Dak Prescott to Andy Dalton to guys like Ben DiNucci, who we never even heard of until last year. They did fine. To me, CeeDee Lamb put his name as the second best receiver in his draft class. Amari Cooper still finished with 1,100 plus yards, so that's 14th in yards in the season. He only started 15 games. To me, this is a receiving core did phenomenal last year, and now with a healthy Dak Prescott, who has a healthy O-line that can let the plays develop officially, Zeke might rebound a little bit to take the pressure off the receiving core. They're going to do just fine. Like I said, CeeDee Lamb was the second best receiver in his draft class. You're topping guys like Henry Ruggs, Jerry Jeudy, Chase Claypool, Brandon Ayuk. I guess that's a tough one. If you could have Brandon Ayuk at number 2, but still, Laviska Shenault and Justin Jefferson's at number 1. But maybe with the Dak Prescott, we'd be having a different conversation, and CeeDee Lamb would be the best receiver in his draft class, and therefore I like him. Michael Gallup, another guy to have him as your wide receiver number 3. That means you're doing things right. And this receiving core, I think with Dak Prescott and pending injuries, number 3 fits them perfect. Number 2, Kansas City Chiefs. You might hate it, you might love it, but when you got a top 5 receiver in the NFL and a top 2, arguably top 1 tight end in the NFL, what do you expect? This is the only receiving duo that could really top the A.J. Brown, Julio Jones one, and to me, that says a lot. They're more proven than Julio Jones and A.J. Brown. Pick your poison on which receiving duo you think is better. That's not really a point, but I think just having that top receiving duo in the NFL and having a supporting cast behind them, and Mecole Hardman, Demarcus Robinson, you got Pringle. There's a lot of speed on this team, and I know speed doesn't turn everything, and if it did, Usain Bolt would be in the NFL, but I'm just saying guys like Mecole Hardman and Demarcus Robinson would be looked at some of the fastest receivers in the NFL if they weren't on the same as Tyreek Hill. Since they are, they're kind of, overshadowed or underlooked, whatever you want to call it. And therefore, I just think having some depth behind the star power Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, this team deserves number 2. Having the quarterback Mahomes to let them reach their absolute best full potential. That's why I held back the Giants. Like I said, Daniel Jones isn't going to get them to play at their full potential. Mahomes, he always gets every single player around him to play at their absolute best. And 9 times out of 10, if you got a guy that's playing at his absolute best, there's not going to be many guys that are better than them. And therefore, the Chiefs, Mahomes, Andy Reid, a rebuilt offensive line, a hungry team that just came off a Super Bowl loss, they're going to be a top 5 receiving core in the NFL. And I got them at number 2. Number 1, it's going to be right there with the Chiefs. It might be obvious. You might hate it. You might love it. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They have absolutely everything you look for in a receiving room. You got your star power up top, your go up and get it physical guy, 6'4", 6'5", Mike Evans. You got an amazing slot receiver in Chris Godwin, who's a deep ball threat as well. You got your speed in Scotty Miller. You got your wild card player in Antonio Brown. I don't know what AB is anymore, but he does show flashes of prime AB. I'm not banking on him being that, but at the very worst, AB's a decoy for defenses to worry about, and that's enough to me. You got a decent rookie from last year in Tyler Johnson, who I don't know how good he is, if I'm being honest. Playing in that receiving room, he's not going to get much starting time, but just what comes to my mind is a huge third and long play that really helped move the chains when they were playing the Saints in the divisional round. That's stuck in my head ever since. Again, I don't know how good the cat is. We haven't seen much of him, but I know he's got crazy hands based off the play I saw in the divisional round. He's just a cherry on top of that receiving core. This isn't why I put them at number 1, but he's worth mentioning. Tight end position. No, they're not as good as Travis Kelce, but you got everything you need there. You got your star power starter in Rob Gronkowski. You got your athleticism in OJ Howard. You got your reliability in Cameron Brate. What are you missing in this Bucs team? There's just so much talent that goes so deep that you can rest guys, give them rest so that they're full energy, play in and play out, and therefore they easily deserve number 1. And you got the GOAT throwing to them. You got Bruce Arians coaching them. You got the offensive line that allows the plays to develop. Similar thing as the Chiefs and Andy Reid and their receiving room. They're just going to all feed off each other. And the Super Bowl champs, I got to give it to them for having the best receiving room in the NFL. Let me know what you guys think. I know no one's probably going to agree with this list. We all got our different opinions, but that is mine. Again, I got the Cardinals at number 5, the Titans at number 4, the Cowboys at number 3, Chiefs at number 2, and the Bucks at number 1. Honorable mentions going to the Giants, Browns, Rams, Bengals. And there's a couple ones out there. I like the Seahawks, so they have a DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, but still, that is my list. As always, guys, comment down below what do you what do you think of this list? And of course, referring back to the question today, who is your number 1 heading into next season? As always, and of course, thanks for watching 2-minute warning.